Girl faces an unfair judgment from the judges, and she makes insulting gestures at a gymnastics competition. To confront the judges, she gathered all the contestants to be the judges themselves, and the winner was decided by them too. The organizers are furious, and the judges can't do anything about it. It's an extremely unfair gymnastics competition. The judges have made irrational judgments, and it's a nationally anticipated competition, and the spectators also protest against the judges. Just now, a competitor completed a vaulting routine with a perfect score. The whole stadium was cheering for her, and everyone was expecting a 10 from the judges for this. But the final result was only 9. 5 points. Everyone is confused. Coach was so confused. He went to the judges and asked them where the 0. 5 was deducted, and the referee says, her shoulder strap are leaking out. Coach is so confused. He starts arguing. He was furious and telling the audience about the strange scoring criteria, which no one could accept. Faced with the unfairness of the judges, the athletes protested on the spot. The other athletes are no longer their opponents. They are up against unfair rules and rigid judges. Her name is Hayley. A few months ago, she returned to gymnastics after a 2-year absence. She performed a difficult routine without even warming up. She just smiles when coach gets mad at her. Hayley, who had just returned to the team, didn't obey the schedule. Everyone else was training while she was playing with her cell phone. Coach took her out in the middle of the night and let her run back to the dormitory. The next day, she's finally able to attend the training. Hayley is a very strong female athlete. It's normal for athletes to fall during training. When their muscles get sore, they soak their bodies in ice water to numb them and ease the pain. But without failing over and over again, they wouldn't be able to land on their feet. Hayley's training went well after she returned to the team, and her teammates got along well. But Joanne disliked her. Because of Hayley's return, Joanne is no longer the strongest on the team. One day, coach had to select for members of the team to compete in the national all-around competition. Coach announced the 4 girls based on their usual scores, including Joanne, but not Hayley. Hayley says it's not fair and gets angry and turns to leave. Then coach stops her. He did it on purpose. In order to promote healthy competition within the team, they decided to organize an intra-team competition and invited the audience and judges to choose for competitors to go to the competition. Women's gymnastics made it to the Olympics in 1936. In this team competition, the first event was the uneven bars. The gymnasts' bodies are taut, and they perform every difficult movement perfectly. Then it's the vault, where they flip and turn one after another and land perfectly. Then the balance beam, and finally the free gymnastics. As we watch from God's point of view, the girls' movements unfold like a kaleidoscope. They're all trying to do their best. In the end, Hayley made the cut, and Joanne was a substitute. But the next day, one of the players gets injured during training. The day of the competition finally arrived, and the girls put on their uniforms and went to the competition with their dreams in mind. There was a packed house and a bunch of unfair referees on stage. The competition started soon. The first event was the balance beam, and the team ended with a perfect landing, but the judges only gave a score of 9. Everyone is very upset by the result, and coach goes to question it. The judge says that what she did was too dangerous, and she can't get a high score. It's a very strange rule. And then Hayley realized something was wrong. In vaulting, it didn't matter how high they jumped or how perfect the moves were. If they took too long, they were deducted points, and points were deducted for not using both hands. In freestyle gymnastics, if the accompaniment is not to the judge's taste, points will be deducted. Although Joanne did very well, she only scored 8.75. Another competitor did a 4-week side flip, but because she didn't signal to the judges, she only scored 9.35 points. Hayley, the girl's opponent, is pissed. Next up was her teammate's vault. Her jumps were perfect in terms of height and distance, and she was applauded by all the spectators. They both thought they could get 10 points this time, but the judges deducted 0.5 points because she showed shoulder straps. The audience is shocked by the result, and Hayley is furious. The girl took off her jacket and slammed it on the floor, then peeled off her shirt to reveal her shoulder strap. The judges are baffled, but she still shows the other one. She quickly rushes to the equipment and ends up standing on it with a sign of displeasure. She abstained, and coach backed her up. There's no doubt that Hayley's score is 0, but she's not sorry at all. She was fighting against the unfair judges. Next it's Joanne. She takes off her jacket and begins her walk around the track. She pulled out her straps and finally left a flying kiss on the vaulting horse. The judges were shocked too. They couldn't believe their eyes. but all the girls united and gave up the program. In the end, the girls still took the first place in the vault with 5 points. That's when the girls suddenly realized a bug in the competition. Since the judges were unfair, they could decide the winner of each event by themselves. After talking to the other teams, they unanimously approved this proposal. They chose the strongest person to finish the race, and all the others abandoned the race. In this way, the girls themselves decided the winner of each event. By the time of free gymnastics, Hayley had everyone's approval to take the competition seriously. She is sticking to her style, her movements are clean and strong, and she's done several aerials in a row, all of which she's done perfectly and landed steadily. At the end, she was left with only one opponent, and she has the only uncertainty. The girl is the 3-time champion of the event, and she sees Hayley as her mortal enemy. She's confident in the ring, and then she forfeits the match, too, just for the girls' collective victory. And in the end, the referee was completely out of control in this match. The girls used their way to defeat power and injustice.